I find it's a dangerous thing on a bike, isn't it? I mean,
It is. It's
people
yeah.
say look twice for bikes, but the reality is, sometimes they're so quick you just can't see them till it's too
That is
late.
the whole thing. They're so diabolically can shift from one point on the road to another point before the average motorist is sort of where you come from. That's so common, and they go to court and they say, but now the judges are starting to say, well, the car driver gets up and says, well, I just didn't see him. And the judges say, well, it's because you weren't looking, but it's still
It's
unfair.
not fair, is it? Because
No.
the bike can not be there and then
Exactly.
be there.
Yeah. I've seen them come past here. Honestly, the guy pulled out of that street there one day on a big black, similar to my old black bike, and he just put the whole thing up on end, and then continued to accelerate down the street. And I'm thinking, an average person in a car waiting to get across the road wouldn't be expecting that, and they'll see a gap in the traffic, and this guy's comes along about 140 k's
On one wheel.
on one wheel. Boy, he was flying. He just from that corner there, just wow. The noise was horrendous, you know. And at the time, I thought, wow, that's spectacular. I thought, you silly bugger, how'd you doing that?
So you're an avid motorcyclist, and you still say, you know what, you motorcyclist has to take care.
It's 110% concentration, I tell you, and being totally aggressive as regards to your own life. Like everything on the road, everything out there, no matter what it is going to try and kill me. So therefore, I'm going to go around it or avoid it or just stick to the rules, speed limit and stuff. And it's a lot of good luck.
So what I'll do is I might start just to speak up, just to make sure the microphone is getting. All right. So John, thank you for taking time this afternoon to see me. Since you're busy on Saturday night when the show's on, so
yes.
Appreciate that. What the show is called Life Skills Patrol. So what we do is we talk to people who have life skills, and you have numerous. You've managed to survive several decades of motorcycle riding. You've got a motorcycle land speed record.
Yeah, it was a production bike record. The bike had to be roadworthy, rideable on the road, and safe as well. And they've stopped doing that. Lake Gardner, where the records were set, Lake Gardner has flooded several times, and now they've nailed it on the head. Plus, the conservation department says we don't want these bikes crashing on the lake. It's going to make a big black mark on the lake. So they've shifted it to Lake Eyre, but now most of it takes place in Bonneville in the United States.
So you have to go to Bonneville to try and break the record now.
Yeah. We, like all records, are made to be broken, and ours didn't last very long. We try to keep it all quiet. When we got back to New Zealand, we kept it all quiet, and one lady in Ulysses Motorcycle Club yapped it to the media, and that's all it took.
Just one careless comment, and that was it.
And Herald got hold of it, and next thing the Australians had another go.
Oh, they didn't like Kiwi holding their record?
No, it was a big no-no. You can't have these Kiwis coming over here. And they went out, and they must have spent a fortune on development and performance research. And they only beat the record by about 1.5K, but that's still...
It's all you need, isn't it?
That's all it takes, so...
How long did it take them to break your land speed record?
Oh, it would have been only 2 or 3 months.
Oh wow! So they were serious.
They were seriously upset about the whole thing. Whether they expected us to come back and have another go, I don't know.
Did you?
No.
So that was a production bike record. What was it?
358K it was. Yeah. The bike was at the end of its performance sort of arena. We couldn't get any more power out of it.
Couldn't do more.
No, it was within the rules. We could have slapped superchargers on there and all that, but that would have broken the rules. And, we were very lucky that we managed to get a good bike and some good parts to put on it, balance it, lighten it, get a lot lighter parts. And on the day, with the speed runs, early in the morning, the air is very dense in Salt Lake. It's full of oxygen. It's very damp, and that's when the bikes go best. And if you pull the straws to go early in the morning, you're going to be up front. You're going to be leading to start with. So, yeah, and we did. We were very lucky. Yeah. Middle of the day, the bike wouldn't have gone that good.
So how do you know all this stuff? I mean, first of all, you had to get a reasonably nice bike that you thought would be able to do it. Then you had to lighten it. Then you had to make sure the power was there. Then you do all the research to figure out that you're doing it at the right time of day. And how do you find out all this stuff?
Trial and error. Yeah, trial and error, and looking back through the records to see
what time
other records were broken. And yes, trial and error. And the bike was put on a dyno for weeks at a time. And different combinations were tried out with fuel, and different injectors that had to be still legal. And as a matter of some days the power would be up, some days the power would be down, but we did find out that running on a very cold day in Wellington, that's when the bike went really turned off. Opened the doors of the workshop and, well, that's going good. So, yeah. But, yeah, trial and error, the sort of thing you do once. And I'd like to go back and watch next time.
Yeah.
To do it again, I'd like to go back and watch, because when you participate, you don't see what's going on. You just concentrate on on the job at hand and get it over and done with. And you miss half of it. I would like to be a spectator. So, but there was another guy, which I think is what you mentioned about the $98,000, and a almost identical bike called Black Thunder. The bike was painted up like America's Cup, all black with a fern leaf, and it was fairly souped up. But he was
it a Kiwi bike?
Yeah, yeah. And he was sponsored by his wife. She was a very wealthy American, I believe, and she poured a lot of money into this guy to go over to Salt Lakes. But he had one problem after another. He used to trial it on Hamilton Airport during flights so that the whole runway was empty. And I think he went through the fence a few times at the end of the runway. And I think one of the trips out in Lake Gardner, he clobbered the timing gear that was waiting at the other end of the lake. I don't know how he.
It's a long way to walk back.
It is, yeah. He hit it. I don't know. Something must have gone wrong with the bike, and he clobbered the tire. Hey, I mean, one object in the middle of the desert, and this is motorcycling. You know, you're going to hit something. It'll be that one object in the middle of the desert, eh? Yeah. So,
which is why you have your theory about surviving motorcycle riding, is that everything I see is there to kill me.
Yep.
And it's up to me to stay out of its way.
Yes, yeah. Even riding at night, you know, sometimes my bike has tremendous headlights on it, and it will light up the little eyes down the road, and you think, is it a possum or a cat? No, whatever it is, it's going to jump out in front of me for sure. When I get close to it, the noise is going to scare it out. And sure enough, every time I'll jump out there around it or something. But I've already got the brakes on by then, so.
So you really don't want to hit a possum or a rabbit or something?
At speed, it could cause serious instability. Yeah, it could throw the bike, and especially possums, they're inclined to roll when you hit them, and the bones can pierce your tyres, which are $300 each. You don't really want to have a possum through the tyre. So
that's probably not great, is it?
Yeah.
So would that be your passion, your bikes?
Yes, I'm going to join the two together, photography and the bike. That's why I got this big bike downstairs, getting prepared. It's ready to go, really. I want to get into parts of New Zealand that the average person wouldn't be able to get into or see, and that's these photos you can see up here on the wall. They sell. Yeah, they sell through an agent in Te Awamutu. She buys them off me. She actually buys the original, takes them back to Te Awamutu and enlarges them to about the size of this wall right here. Frames them, costs $100, and then gets them crated up and they're shipped off to the Middle East or England or America, where they're sold in hotels, to adorn the walls of hotels. She makes a killing out of it.
And you take a lot of these photos and you get there with the bike?
Well, yeah, I actually walk into these places now. Like some of these were, actually both of those were taken just up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looked like they're taken miles away, but the more you take, of course, the more you go looking for a more different picture.
So motorcycles and photography.
Yeah.
So how did you? All right, would you just tell us what do you do for a living? What do you do?
I take pictures, and I've actually got pictures. If I'm doing photography, can take all day. Sometimes it can take 10 minutes. Also have a part-time job looking after a bed and breakfast down at Ruamoki Street down the bottom there. A lady there, I know her. I knew her husband very well. He died, and he sort of said, well, on his deathbed, he said, "You got to come look after this place." So, and it's just maintenance, but that's secondary to photography. And I just say to her, text me with a list of stuff you want done to the house. It's a beautiful place, fantastic house, and I'll come and do it the next half day off. So
Now we're probably going to get soon to the reason that you're able to get that to do that work because you're highly skilled. But at the moment, you do photography. How did you get into the photography?
just always done it. Right from back from, I suppose, when I was 10 years old. I remember inheriting my grandfather's camera and got it to work and started taking pictures. Hasn't stopped since. It stopped a lot when I didn't really push into the market of being self-employed. I've always been employed as a coach builder, and after 4 redundancies in the last 30 years, I started to get a bit concerned. If you give a job your best shot and you get made redundant, it's not any fault
Not your fault, no.
myself. And some of the reasons I was getting made redundant were stupid. And I thought, if we get a chance, I'll go solo. And then we call it being a sole trader, and it's brilliant. Yeah. And there are services out there that will train you, so that you need to pay your own tax, ACC. The Polytech I did a course there on photography. It was mainly concerning the Privacy Act, of what you can photograph and what you can't, and who's fair game and who isn't.
And who owns the image?
Yes, yeah. And it's just got better ever since. It's just got better. I've got updated gear, and I think it's mainly going to wins a lot and going for job interviews that you're never going to get. I can tell, you know.
So there's a story here. So you were a coach builder, and that was your trade?
Now I was taught to trade 9,000 hours. It was all paid for by the government in Wellington. And they come along one day and just said, oh, these locomotives you were working on, we're going to send them to Australia to Clyde Engineering. They're going to be overhauled there. You guys are going to be able to work. That was it. After
Sorry guys, go home. Thanks.
Yeah. And what a strange...
And you're a highly skilled, you know, this day and age you hear people say, oh, I've got to go get my qualification, that'll get me a job.
No.
All right, you were already highly skilled.
Yes.
And even so, circumstances changed, the focus of the industry changed.
Yes.
They decided to outsource that coach building, local people out of work.
Yes. There were a lot of guys, in my intake, there was 20 of us came in there, and when the word got out that all the work centre ran out, we're going to be sweeping the floor, most people shot through to Aussie, even in those days. That was in the late 70s, they shot through to Aussie. Or
So what, they're like, well, if the Aussies have got the contract, we'll just move. Is that what they thought?
Yeah, they'll just go over there and beat them. And a lot of them struck good times, a lot of them struck bad times and came back. And quite ironic, a few years ago, where I did my original apprenticeship, they had an open day. And I was trying to go back to the place, this enormous place in Woburn and Lower Hutt, huge place. And when I turned up there was a recruitment going because they wanted coach builders to overhaul locomotives, and the locomotives were from Australia. There's a big
So it was the other way around.
Going completely reversed.
Full circle.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, it's in the rail, we've got no one to work on these. This is terrible, you know. And we've taken them on. They come over here by ship. I don't believe it can be cheaper. And they had a massive publicity campaign to get coach builders, boiler makers, fitters, electricians, make them overhaul these locomotives, and I think the whole thing fell quite flat. No one was going to trust them anyway, and most of the people, you got more money in Australia for doing the same job, so people go over there.
So you didn't go to Australia though?
No, I picked up a paper one day in Wellington. There was a little advert there for wanted a coach builder up in Whangarei here, and to put the finishing touches and complete the first Tiger Lily catamaran for the Bay of Islands. And the government of the day had changed the rules, and any boat that could didn't take over so many hundred people was going to have a big tax slapped on it. And these guys, you know, were building the boat, was finished. They realised, man, this is going to cut the profit margin to nil. We've got to fix this, and so they advertised for a coach builder, and they got me in, and they just said to me, here we are, here's the cabin. It was an enormous boat. How are we going to get another 100 people on this? And so I just reinforced the ceiling, put a rail around the top, and that's
Go for stand on the deck.
Yeah. So, and the boat was launched, and I made another 2 after that. Not Monterey, so I came up here temporarily, but never went home. Never went back to Ireland. One thing then went to another, but then again that was followed by 3 more redundancies through being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So
because when I met you, things weren't too good.
No, they weren't. No.
And you were looking for something new to do, and I think you were suggesting to yourself, well, maybe I can do this photography thing.
Yes.
How much support did you get?
Financially, I didn't get what I was really after, mainly because there's this thing called old age, and people knew how old I was, and they said, "Oh, you're nearly 60. We're not too keen on investing money in this sort of thing." Blah blah blah. And
You were told that.
yeah, and they call it ageism. It wasn't so much in Wins, but when everywhere outside I went for a job, you could just tell, well, this guy's he's getting on a bit, and he's a bit slow, and we could pay a younger person less money to do the same job. I struck a lot of places, and I thought,
And then there's the other argument, well, gosh, this guy's got, say, I don't know, 12 or 15 years before he retires. If we hire him, we're going to be stuck with him, and the employment these days is a 2-3 year stint, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So they don't want to be stuck with someone until they retire.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So, and one day I just realised, I thought, well, if I worked for myself, I wouldn't make myself redundant. I'm not worried about getting old, so I'll take a big step. And I had my big bike downstairs, not this one. I sold that to get the money to go to Polytech just to do this exam. But that exam, I couldn't really charge a lot of money. But that's some sort of qualification. Taking a good photo is one thing, but you've got to have something backing you to say this is what I can do.
Yeah, having the qualification doesn't necessarily mean you can do the job, but when you can do the job, having the qualification helps people feel a little bit better about hiring you.
It does,
right?
yeah, a bit more professional. And I got a hand. Wins were tremendously supportive and making sure I survived. That was tremendous. You put me on to a lot of people, especially up in Kaitaia. There was a bus company up there.
And you took every lead and you did your best.
Yeah, and everywhere I went, they said, "Oh, yeah, we're interested." And it was always the same argument. Look, we've got nothing now, but we'll give you a ring. Or, oh, we're really looking for a younger person. So that's fair enough. I mean, I guess people come to me and say, "Can you teach me photography?" I'd take a younger person. I wouldn't take some older who were set in their ways, you know. But, so it was, but through Wins, I learned a lot. I mean, I had CVs printed off that must have gone to every business in Whangarei. I'd spend a lot of days just walking, going to places, and put them on the counter and say, "Call me if you're interested." And I think I used to start at the supermarket New World here and go right down through town, through the industrial area, back home again. And I suppose out of 40 CVs, you'd probably get maybe 5 or 6 phone calls. And out of the 5 or 6 phone calls, probably get 1 interview. And then they'd say, "Okay, we got you on the books," and then had a look at you.
But it always came down to maybe age, you think?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, they look at And also, a lot of people said, "Oh, you're highly qualified, but we can't afford you." And that was a big sticking point.
And that is the other thing that more mature employment candidates face is employers know that there's skills, and if they want to access them, they're going to have to pay for them. And the other thing that's in the back of a lot of employers' mind perhaps is that, well, maybe this person has the skills, but do they have the energy?
Yes, sure, yeah. And they look at you and they must think, well, I wonder if he'll perform. And yet I've never been made redundant because I didn't perform. It was just always, as I said, wrong place.
But that's not called redundancy, that's called being fired. So you've never been fired.
Never been fired. It's been quite interesting because when I left Northport Cool Stores down here, I think about 2 hours before I left, the manager walked into the tea room and said, "People have been smoking cannabis on site." He said, "We're going to introduce random breath tests and this test and that test, and anyone gets caught, they're sacked." And 2 hours later, he called me off and says, "Oh, John, we're having problems making ends meet. We're going to let you go."
Right, so they didn't get you on the drugs. They just got you on the
and then
changing their business model.
A lot of times I noticed with employment in New Zealand and redundancy, especially, I've got quite an expert at redundancy and how to save the money and spread the money out a little bit. But a lot of the time, the employer will give you a reason for being redundant. And then later on you find out that wasn't the reason. And
that's because it wasn't redundant.
Yeah, it was just like an excuse to drop the staff levels. And at the time, I remember at Cool Stores, Iran was importing a special sort of butter that was made at Fonterra up here. And 10,000 tonnes at a time would go out to Iran. And then the trouble with Iran came with America and the nuclear thing. America said, "Oh, we're going to nail you with sanctions. We're going to stop you taking delivery of this and that and the other thing." We'll start it out virtually. And consequently, Iran, according to the manager, he said, "Oh, Iran hasn't paid their bill to Frontier, so we're not going to get paid either for storing the stuff at 10 degrees or minus
So
10."
you're redundant again.
Yeah. Well, what it turned out to be was America had told New Zealand government, "Don't supply Iran with anything, especially butter. If they really want it, and if they can't get it, they'll buckle under and get rid of the nuclear fuel." And so
Of course, that worked brilliantly, didn't it?
yeah, and the two of us got laid off the same day, 20 minutes before Easter. But in saying that, the manager was very fair. He said, "Look, we're going to pay you out, pay you for your leave you haven't taken and everything else, and so it won't be a problem." And really, that job was engineering, but when you're working in minus 20 degrees, it knocks you around a little bit, and that's why I wonder perhaps a younger person wouldn't get knocked around so much. But we way exceeded all the safety rules at that temperature. We were only meant to be there for 10 minutes, but we stayed there for half an hour. You come out and you go in blue.
So you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
So you're in this situation, you'd been through several redundancies, you were unemployed, you were walking the town, you were looking for jobs. You were always upbeat, but you just decided, well, I'll do this photography. You thought you'd get the qualification under your belt to give you more credibility. But then how did you actually get into the position of being paid for your skill? How did that come about?
Just strictly by chance, a photographer was going to do a wedding of a young girl around the corner here, actually, just in Graham Street. The photographer had a horrendous car accident and couldn't make the wedding on the morning when the photography was going to start. And her father knew me and said, "We've just got to get anyone can take a photo. We're going to get anyone." Grab someone. He came around here and said, "Can you do a wedding? Just, it doesn't matter what the pictures look like, just as long as you photograph the bride and people there and stuff." So I went along, picked up the gear and went around the corner and went there, went to the church, went to the reception, gave him about 60 photos, I think it was, and that's all it took. I was getting paid. And it was great. And after that, it just went from word of mouth to word of mouth to word of mouth, and well, I went. Yeah.
So you can do weddings. You do glamour photography.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And mainly mechanical stuff, and also scenery, because that's a
Scenery.
it sells really good. And what I want to do is get to the stage where, at the moment, the buyer comes up from Taramuru and she will buy 4 pictures on a 24-shot roll of the old negative type film. She will buy 4 of those. That was to start with. Now it's up to about 16. And
so you've got better at taking them.
Yeah. She demands quality. She will just sit. She comes in and sits here, and she looks at, and she'll just say, "I want that one. No, keep that one. I want that one. Keep that. Keep that. Keep that." And of course, slowly it's got better and better until now she will give me a list of what she wants, and I'm just going to get it. And, from 24 shots, I mean that's $25 each. I'm getting paid. It's nowhere near what she's getting paid, but it's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah. And also that's her market. She's got access to these markets overseas that I haven't.
Right. So yeah, and she's got to be paid for her marketing.
Yeah.
So all right. So there's the scenery, and there's also, you mentioned mechanical.
Yeah. People love their hot rods and bikes. The photos taken of their bikes and the hot rods and stuff. And what we're going to do is give them one really good picture, not even framed. They'll come back for more, every time. Yeah. And they word of mouth. Wongarei, word of mouth is the key advertising thing. People can see an advert and I don't know that guy. They haven't seen his work. But if someone says, "Oh, this guy's really good," or "No, he's really bad," well,
it means a lot in this town, doesn't
it does.
So you also do a lot of photography for vehicles that have been involved in accidents and stuff,
yep.
and you also have to appear in court to
back
say that, yep, these photos are actually the real deal. This is the photo I took. It has not been digitally enhanced, and you've got to basically swear on that.
Yeah, photography's changed. In the early days, a negative would be accompanying the photo, so any court could look at the negative and say, "Oh, yeah, that hasn't been altered." But now with digital stuff, so easy to alter it. It's I think 9/11 in the States was the best example of that. People were getting their pictures taken on top of the World Trade Towers, and right behind there's a jumbo jet about to smack into the tower. I mean, it was so false. Obviously, the camera wouldn't survive. But now that and I had to move with the times. I had to go to digital type cameras. I still use roll film.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because you did mention rolls,
Yeah,
and we did mention digital enhancement of photos. There's a gentleman. He was one of the first guests on the show when we started it. His name's Graham Hughes. He teaches at Kamo Intermediate.
Oh, okay.
And he owns a studio out in Rangatapere, and he's accepting the world of digital photography, but he's accepting it on his terms, which is, I'm an analog guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when I want to use digital enhancement, I might.
Okay.
But usually I don't. And he's living his whole life analog. Like, he refuses to be a slave to his cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Half the time he doesn't even have a cell phone on him.
Oh,
You know, he's really, he calls it living an analog life. But you've started with analog photography, the film, and that's what you've grown up with. But you use a bit of digital. Is it?
Yes.
Is it equal? Is it more digital now? Is it
a lot more? It's totally taken over. To get a roll film, a 24-shot roll film developed, it's $25, and then the film itself is $18. So that's quite expensive. Where with digital, you buy the one little tab, what do they call it, and it's, I think that was about $8 or $9 last one I bought. That takes about 10 times the amount of images on that, and you can play it back through any system, which is quite good.
so like a little memory?
Yes, it's a memory stick.
Stick, and you can put that into various devices and view the photos.
I guess the best thing is with digital, you can have a look at the picture on the back of the camera straight away and think, I got to do that again, or oh, that's enough, next. Yeah, that's good. So it is a brilliant system, absolutely brilliant. But I still honestly believe that roll film is clearer for doing enlargements. Yeah, I noticed these were digital, and they're not all that clear. If they got much bigger than that, they wouldn't be. They would start to lose their clarity and stuff. With a roll film ones, I mean, they've blown up the size of that wall, and it's still crystal clear. It's quite good. Yeah.
So you will choose which method to use depending on the job.
Yes. Yep. Usually, if things like a wedding or a hen session on the Saturday night before, the Friday night before, you got to move around a lot. And the digital keeps up there quite well, and it'll go all night with the roll film. You're going to run out sooner or later, so you're going to stop, unload the film, put a new one in, which is time where you might miss something. So, but I can see it being the way of the future. Just like here's my bike, which I've got a bike downstairs, and that's got traction control and ABS brakes. When I started riding, that didn't exist even in cars.
Traction control was in your finger and your foot, wasn't
exactly.
it?
Exactly. Up here in the brain where you think, oh, I'm on ice, I better slow down or I won't touch the brakes. But now it's all done for you. You can still fall off just as easy. But hopefully I won't be doing too much of that with $5,000 worth of gear on the back. I don't want to fall off too much, even though it's insulated. But
no, you want it. And I see you've got a very impressive collection of vinyls.
Yes, music's always been a great thing. Yeah.
So what's your favourite?
Everything. Yeah, I've got stuff there from
big collection.
Talking Heads and Willie Nelson and some big orchestra guys. Yeah.
Is that Billy Idol?
Yeah. It's just whatever the mood takes. There's nights where I can't stand rock and roll, other times I can't leave it alone. Other times an orchestra will be senseless, but after a good day it's good to sit back and listen to a bit of music and think, well, that was good.
So that's how you got into it, and things are going really well. Oh, the other thing I think you mentioned to me at one stage was before you launched into self-employment, you actually did a course with Inland Revenue, didn't you? How long was that?
I think it's about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah.
And what do they go through?
They go through, they take on anyone that's about to set themselves up for business. They sit you down in the office right in town here, right in the main drag, and they go through everything that you're liable for. And first thing is they show you how to fill out all the forms. And there's not many. As a sole trader, and I keep it under the 60 grand mark.
You don't have to register GST.
Yeah, no GST.
Straight away, you're 15% cheaper than the competition.
Yes, yeah, and but Inland Revenue have been just like winds. They say, they sit you down and say, this is what you're responsible for, and this is what you have to do. And Inland Revenue went from being the big bad ogre in my life to, well, what everyone says, oh, they're ripping us off, and they went from there to being actually very helpful, quite good. And made it quite nice and made it very easy to be self-employed, quite easy. So
I guess it makes sense, you know, the more people can be self-employed, the less people are dependent on welfare.
Yes,
it's, you know, you've got to make it easy at some point.
I recommend to anyone. It's a lot of people don't like going on courses and stuff and doing that, but sometimes you've got to get up in the ladder a little bit.
So there are a few things there. First, there was your passion, and photography's been a passion forever. Now you've got your secondary passion of several decades of motorcycle, and you combine them. Now you get to the place on the motorcycle and walk into the bush, and but then you have credibility because you've done the North Tech course as well as having a lifetime of experience. But then you did the sensible thing and thought, well, gee, how am I going to handle my tax? I know, I'll do this in the revenue course.
Yes.
And meanwhile, you got support from, you know, the various stakeholders in your life at the time, work and income, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now you're fully independent. So it wasn't easy, was it?
There were times there when I did wonder, not having a family to fall back on, if I ran out of money, I had nowhere to go, virtually. And it was a matter of balancing everything out and just thinking, well, this can't last forever. Sooner or later I'm going to find a loophole and find something that'll take me off. And Winds had, every time I go to Winds there'd be a sheet there of jobs available on that particular day, and scanned through there. A lot of them weren't 40 hours. I like to work 40, 50 hours a week. It's good, I've got nothing else to do. So I might as well work. But a lot of the jobs were like cafeteria assistant, all that sort of thing, and logging jobs. And I think I got sent to the Salvation Army, and they asked me what I was doing there. I said, well, I come from Windsor. Yeah, but you're already qualified.
Yeah, in coach building.
Yeah. Have you got a licence? Yes. Oh, we can't teach you how to drive then. And it'll go on and on, and then they'll just say, I'm sorry, we can't help you. And the same as regional training. Went to regional training, and they, oh, well, do you want to come and cut the grass somewhere?
So there's an underlying theme, and I hear this a lot. It's you know, if it is to be, it's up to me. You kind of really have to take ownership. Yes, you had the support, but none of that was going to fix anything for you.
Right.
You really had to take ownership.
Yeah. And money is a big thing. A lot of people say, oh, I can't afford to be self-employed. I can't afford to go out and buy this equipment, where I already had a head start, which was brilliant. And I thought, it's an old camera. It was a single lens reflex thing, and it still works, and it's still taking photos itself, that camera, and that's all I had to start with. And I knew for sure I could afford, out of the benefit, I could afford one roll of film a month, but every photo had to be worthwhile. It wasn't like you see on the television or fashion photographers who have these cameras that they keep the button.
Work it, baby, work it, own it, baby. Click, 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 click.
Yeah,
23 rolls of film later, they get 3 shots.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's really stupid. And as I said, for weddings, I said to people, I can guarantee that if I take 60 photos, take 80 photos, every one will be a good one. And very few come back.
Because you're not going to waste the film.
Yeah, every shot will be aimed and carefully calculated, and bang, get it all done. So it'd be easy to bang up and just take photos randomly. But that's the other thing now, that with digital photography, anyone can take a camera to a wedding, rallies and stuff, and take a lot of the pictures. And I know the weddings have gone on, but I said, we're not going to hire a photographer. We just want everyone to take photos, and we'll look at them afterwards. So, but a lot of people don't want to walk around a wedding, they want to eat and drink or dance with the bride.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I went to a wedding once where they paid someone to look after should there be any problem.
Oh, okay.
That person was there to sort it.
Oh,
that was their job.
Yeah.
so that all the guests could just enjoy the wedding.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who was in your position? Because you've been there, you've done that. What would you say to someone today who's in your position?
I would love to go to Winds actually and sit down with some of the people that are queuing up there. And I know for sure, I think we mentioned before, that the set agenda in Winds is pretty inflexible. There's a set of rules, and that's set by the government. And fair enough too, they're the ones that are paying the money. So, but I like to sit down with them. Times I used to walk in there, and sometimes I turn up an hour early, half an hour early, and it was a sea of hopelessness. Everyone was sitting there thinking, what's next, sort of thing. And I'd like to get someone to one side and say, not what can you do, what do you want to do, and then take it from there. See how keen they are on doing something. If they've got the drive to do it, and say, righto, this is where you go.
Which is pretty close to my approach, is what I do.
Yeah, and I'd say cancel the appointment and go here. All right, they're going to cut your benefit, but you'll be earning a lot of money. And one of the reasons I stick to photography, when I work out the hourly rate, this is the highest hourly rate I've ever had in my life. I've had some good jobs that pay $500, $600 a week, and up $800 a week. But now I can walk. Well, some days the buyer, she'll sit down and write me out a check for $1,000. Just a group of photos.
And you went for a walk in the bush and took some snaps.
Yeah, we're just walking around and
carefully, professionally considered, and composed.
Yeah, so listen. And sometimes, for one photo, that one there on the wall with the sun coming through the ferns, there was a gap of about 4 minutes when that was going to happen. And that was it.
So you waited for it?
Yeah, I just sat. I went back 3 or 4 days in a row, and some days the clouds would come over. I think that's it, go home. Other days, the wind would blow them around. Other days, people would come up behind me and say, "What are you doing?"
Gee, thanks.
Yeah,
I just missed it.
And it was quite interesting because I was doing that, and my ex-manager's wife jogged through there, and she said, "Hello, what are you doing?" Sort of thing. And I said, "I'm taking this photo through there." Perhaps you should come back and work for Northport Cool Stores. Yeah, right. We're not going to happen.
So, yeah, and I think too that, and you're a good example of this. I don't think we will get very far wishing it were easier. I think we have to make ourselves better. Like you just mentioned, that photo is just not a random thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's planned, and you got to learn that stuff, and you go back 3 or 4 days, and there's cloud, and you got to do the work.
Yeah. If I just sold that one photo in a week, and no more, it'd be a shocking hourly rate, because I put all this effort into it just to get $25, $50 or something, But if I turn up with 20 of those in a week, well, that starts to count out thing. If I turn up with 50 or 60 a week, well, that's some better still.
Well, so if there's someone out there that needs a photographer for a wedding, or they'd like some nice scenery shots, or maybe they're a business that want to defend themselves and want some mechanical shots of the gear involved in an accident, or maybe it's a prosecutor, how can they get hold of you?
Just ring my number. It's 027 40 40 602.
027 40 40 602.
That's it, and that's, if you can't get me, leave a message. I'm bound to get it within 2 or 3 hours. I get out of range of the phone up in the hills, but as soon as you get near the towers again, it pops up on the phone and it says, I may be busy, may be booked out or whatever. There's been times when I've been booked out 5 weekends in a row.
Wow.
Just with work, pre-booked and ready to go. And some weekends there's nothing. That's when I put the camera over the shoulder and go for a big walk, and so I'll catch up here.
And I know you do get busy very quickly, because I think yesterday or the day before you were free on Saturday, and now what are you doing on Saturday night?
Now there's a group who are not professional rally drivers. They want the maintenance of the car filmed when it comes in after the run, and they jack it up. They want all the damage filmed under that car.
So is this like a video film or a...
I can do both. Yeah, I've got a video camera there, so if they want video, they can. But I think they want still shots, so they can put them up on the wall of the workshop and say that's a weak component. We won't replace that with that same component. We'll put another one in. Just little things like that. But yeah, the weekend was free, and then within a couple of hours, no, yeah, it's not going to be very well.
That's okay. We've pre-recorded it now, so it'll still be good.
But it's all good. It's if someone had told me when I used to sit down at Wins that this would be my future, I was like, no, I'm a coach boarder. I've got to get back into that trade. And I think, I don't know, you might have seen the paper. The week I ran Wins, I went in there and said I need to stop the benefit. I'm now getting paid some good money, finish. And I went home and picked up paper a few nights later, and here's a big advert. They wanted a coach builder in Dargaville to restore Dargaville's first hearse. You guys are kidding me, but
it would have been short-lived.
It would have been short-lived. It would have been short-lived, yeah. So close now, but then again, I'm not too sure I want to restore a hearse.
No, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, but I just wish I could get hold of a lot of other people that I used to see them at Wins and thinking, you want to shake them sometimes, and say, come on, take a gamble. And that's all it was, taking a gamble. You could lose. And then again, riding the bike's taking a gamble. I always come home.
Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood, yeah. But I'm sure anyone could do it. A lot of people leave school without attempting exams or trade certificates or anything, or even getting some sort of training to say, I can get better at this. And some people just leave school too early.
Yeah.
I was very lucky in my day. You had the choice. You could do school cert and leave, and you could go home at night and pick up the paper, and there's a list of apprenticeships, a full size list of apprenticeships in different places that you could just pick one and apply for it, and they give you a little test. Yep, you're in. That's the next 5 years of your life.
It's not like that these days. I think that's a consequence of the professionalism of training now. The training of the workforce has moved away from the employer, and you've got these technical institutes, and it's all become professional.
Yeah.
But it's really nice that apprenticeships are coming back. So maybe we might end up somewhere like that soon.
It could, and it'd be a good thing. It's good training. I think the Christchurch earthquake proved that. They got all these people down there that picked up skills they never would have picked up without an earthquake. So that's brilliant. College, learning, skills. Yeah, it's a big vicious circle. But where do you jump on? Where do you jump off?
And before we go, where do you see photography taking you? Because the thing that strikes me is this is something you can do till you're ready to retire, till you've had enough. That's what I'm sort of the feeling I'm getting.
Right. Yeah.
Where is this going to take you?
I've got
what are your plans?
Another 4 years work before I'm entitled to retire, and I don't want to retire. I want to keep doing this until I drop, really, because it's good. I love it. I'm doing it. It's exciting. To take a lot of photos, then get printed and think, I could have done a lot better. I will. I'll go back and make a better job at this time, and it's brilliant. And if I retired, I'd probably get very old very quick and die. This way, I'm keeping active, I'm keeping fit, and the challenge of doing better every time is quite good. The challenge of making something better every time.
And you've got some great work stories, especially from the courtroom dramas.
Oh yeah. yes, courtrooms. Yeah, they're quite hilarious. And even just if you have one in the old days, I think my father, he had one job from leaving school right up to when he died, and you're with that same workforce all the way through. And I think if you go through about 4 different jobs, maybe 5, 10 different jobs, you get to meet a lot of people and get a much broader view of society.
Of life.
You see all sorts of clowns in industry. Man, there's some clowns, and it was all a big lesson. I don't end up like that.
Well, you're a sensible guy. Yeah. I noticed by the way you look after your motorcycle.
Oh yeah, it's pampered. Yeah. But I mean, I started life as everyone else, but I got married and I had great dreams of kids and had big houses and stuff like everyone else does. And but with life, suddenly you can veer off down a different channel, and might not be your choice. And my wife died, and I lost my job, and So it went from being quite high and looking quite positive to virtually nil. And I was in deep trouble there for a while, but you fight back. That's part of being human. I think you fight back.
Mm.
You know. I could just sit down and die, but that wasn't an option.
I mean, the thing that you can say you gained from the experience is a lot of resilience, a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and I think there's no one who can actually teach you that. You can't go on a resilience course or a confidence course. I know you can go confidence courses with the army and that sort of thing, but
It's not the same.
it's not the same. Yeah, I think thrown into the deep end, as I call it, and you virtually life throws you into the deep end and life yells at you, now get out of it. Get yourself out.
Yeah. Mwahaha.
Yeah.
Here's a challenge for you.
Yeah, see if
What are you going to do
see if
about
you can
it?
get out of this one.
I'm sure you can if you work on it.
It's like, you know, when you ride the bike and the cop comes up behind and the red and blue lights are flashing and you're straight away thinking, how am I going to get out of this? What excuse have I got? And all of a sudden you're thinking, well, wait a minute, I haven't done anything wrong. And the cop would come up beside you and said, oh, I'm pulling you over because the road's blocked up ahead.
Oh, wow, I like that bike. How long have you had it?
Yeah, and common reading, you know. But motorcycling, but like photography, there's a lot of pirates out there that spoil it for the rest. So you've got to avoid them and look after your market. And look after the market. I didn't give much away about who my buyer is, because I know for sure people have asked me, and I don't know her name. I don't even know where she's from. But because people will cash in on something and avoid to try and achieve other things quickly.
There are no shortcuts though, are there?
There's not. No.
And once you've made it, you've got to protect.
Got to protect the market. Got to protect the future, which is what I intend to do. And now that sort of my parents are dead and my wife's dead, I've got a lot more time on my hands than I would normally have, and that's a great thing. I couldn't imagine having 2 or 3 children around and a wife and a mortgage and stuff, and having the time to do photography.
You wouldn't have time for what you need to do.
Yeah, so the opportunity came along and just grab it. Oh, and I think a lot of young people should do the same thing. You know, forget the mortgage and the house and the kids, and have a few years doing something positive. It sounds an awful choice to make, but it's gives you a longer life. Yeah, a much longer life. Average old age as well. So, and yeah, I'm quite grateful to wins. I'm quite grateful. Without them, I couldn't survive. And they gave me, every time we go in here, they would have a new listing of work that you can have a look at. Most people that work there, yourself included, were helpful and positive. Like, wow, we're going to do something for you. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
And I think that's the key too, isn't it? I mean, there are a lot of good people at places like Work and Income and then Revenue, but at the end of the day, it is up to you.
Yes, yeah. You got to do something with what they have given you. You got to do something with it.
Yeah,
and that's the main thing. Don't just walk out the door and think,
well, they didn't give me enough, or
what's on TV tonight? You know? Yeah. And I used to walk out the door and win, and I'd have a big camera in my bag half the time, and I'd come home a long way through the bush, and thinking, the ultimate shot is just around the corner, I'm sure.
So even back then you were doing that?
Oh yeah. I used to walk from here, you just go down to the river and there's tracks that walk right into town. And walk into town, looking around all the time, and a lot of the photos were absolute rubbish. But a lot of them were also quite brilliant photos that sold later. And that was brilliant, yeah. So I'd turn up with a big bag and there'd be all this paperwork in there of reapplying for this and that and the other thing, and but the camera was always there, and it was a little comfort zone, as you say. When I was talking about windows, I bet I'm the only guy sitting here with a camera.
So now you're doing something you love, that probably doesn't even feel like work most of the time.
It doesn't, no. When I get in and I fill out the forms in Revenue, I see all this money, and I think, crikey. You know,
do you ever think, gee whiz, I get paid for this?
Yeah, I do. I do sometimes think, wow, that was easy. That was easy money. You know. Other times I've come home and I've had money up to my knees, or I've fallen down the bank and I've let the camera go on and stay on the bank and I've gone on the river. That's just the risk you take. You know. And I've never been really seriously injured, or I've been threatened more times by physical violence from truck drivers and car drivers and defence lawyers more than I've been injured. So, yeah, the beat goes on.
Cool. Hey, well, thank you for that, John.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll be playing the interview on Saturday night.
What channel?
It'll be 88.1 FM.
FM.
Yeah,
I gotta write that down.
88.1. Beagle Radio 88.1. Or you can hear it on their website.
On Saturday night,
Mm-hmm. Between 6 and 8.
Between 6 and 8?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Or do you have internet access?
I got internet access at work. I barely use it. You know, I'm not a bit like the analog man. If I can avoid it, I will. But other than that,
Well, you know, I'll make sure you have a link to the YouTube video as well.
oh, good man. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Nice. Thanks, John.
It's bloody good to have me say.